This year at GDCE Europe I was doing a talk about netbooks, specifically about writing games for Windows and DirectX. I was covering a little bit about the marketplace and how people can sell games on netbooks, and then I went into some of the technical aspects, the things you have to deal with when making a game work well on a netbook, along with some of the optimizations you can do on both the CPU and the GPU. The first main reason why people should consider netbooks as a valid market is the sheer sales that we've had in them. In the first 6 quarters of the netbook's life, it ramped faster than just about any other consumer device. At the start of this year we had over 40 million netbooks sold, and they're still selling very rapidly with good growth. So we anticipate within the next 2 to 3 years you'll have a market of somewhere like 140 million netbooks out there. So that's obviously a massive marketplace if you can compare that to many of the other potential gaming platforms. There's a few other things. There's a big push from Intel and a lot of the manufacturers of netbooks to try and get a unified marketplace where people can actually go to get their applications. And that's the idea behind the App Center, which is one of the things I talked about. And if you can get your games into a center like that, and we can drive traffic from the hardware manufacturers and the people selling netbooks to that site, then there's the opportunity for someone coming into this market early to make potentially a lot of money. Netbooks should really be considered as their own unique platform, because you want to try and make the best out of them. That means a few different things. If you're thinking of porting a game from a traditional PC environment, the first thing to think about is the screen real estate. Your resolutions are going to be something like 1024 by 600, which is actually quite a common resolution, and it's much smaller than a typical PC. So you have to start thinking about how big your text is, how much information you can fit on the screen. So first thing is make sure you're using icons rather than text. Make sure they'll scale, because some netbooks actually come with very wide screen aspect ratios. Not the sort of thing you'd typically see on a PC monitor. So that's the first thing. The next thing is it's a mobile platform. That means you can make use of its strengths, things like ad hoc networking, wireless distribution of content. You have the fact that as a netbook, you know you've got to make the most of your battery life. The last thing you want to do is design a game that will actually drain the netbook for the sake of it. And there's little things you can do and things you can consider that'll make the game very friendly to the end user while they're playing it. One of the things I started talking about is a free SDK that Intel actually provides, called the Laptop and Netbook Gaming TDK. It provides all the basic source code needed to figure out how strong your network signal is. So you can tell when you're playing your game if you've got a reliable signal. You can tell how long your battery life has left in your netbook. You can give the user a warning. If they're playing their game and they've got 15 minutes battery life left, you want to tell them so they've got a chance to save at a convenient point. Don't just let the whole thing shut down. There's other little things like that you have to consider. Making sure you actually design it around the keyboard, because they're not probably going to have a mouse with them if they're actually traveling on a train or on a plane. So it's little things like that can really make a difference.